Hey, everybody, welcome to the Cardone Solutions Podcast. I am your host of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. My name is David Bradley, training facilitator and coach with Grant Cardone. I'm bringing you weekly sales tips, sales strategies, attitude adjustments from the 10X world of Grant Cardone. 80% of what we do at Cardone Training Technologies is 100% free. And so the purpose of this podcast is to make sure the free stuff we're putting down, you're picking up and you're putting it into your sales, your business, and your life, and you're doing what with it? Getting a result, getting a real one, something you can measure. So thank you in advance for hitting the subscribe button. And if you are getting value from the Cardone Solutions Podcast, also thank you in advance for sharing that out on social media. Appreciate that in advance. Make sure other people can benefit from it too. If you're getting something from it, somebody else is getting something from it too, but they can't get it unless you share it, okay? So today's episode, we're going to be talking about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. What's the difference? But first, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast is brought to you by Grant Cardone's Cardone University Coaching Program. Check this out. Here's what we know, okay? 84% of managers literally too busy to train and develop their team the way they wish they could. Most managers got into management simply because they could produce, not necessarily because they could transfer skill, okay? Lastly, this is the kicker, 88% improvement in productivity and production when training and coaching gets involved. So, enter Grant Cardone's Cardone University Coaching Program. This is where we get to become literally a virtual extension of your management team, okay? Here's what comes with. Full access to the corporate Cardone University platform, over 30 plus managed learning courses. We got enough coaching material in there to keep you busy for 3 years. That's right. Test me. I dare you. Okay. Our process does the following. Okay. It literally increases engagement and accountability with your team where you get us, a certified Cardone coach like me, working with your team every single day. Not only do we get the engagement and the accountability, but you get us at a fraction of the cost as to what it would be to bring somebody in-house to do that for you. And we work with you directly to help you increase sales volume, sales profitability, while reducing extraneous costs and expanding market share. That's right. We're going to do all that with you. Okay. So if you would like a complimentary sales process analysis, say that fast 3 times. Complimentary sales process analysis, okay? Shoot out an email to david@grantcardone.com or fire off a phone call, 310-777-0352. That's 310-777-0352. Or pop over to cardonesolutions.com/coaching. That's cardonesolutions.com/coaching. cardonesolutions.com/coaching. Okay, now on with the show. So as promised, fixed mindset, growth mindset, what is the difference? And the question I want you to just start thinking with right now, asking yourself, and honestly answer this, is the way your mind works holding you back? I know mine does. Okay. Do you have a growth mindset or do you have a fixed mindset? Now, if you decided to get on our coaching program, which I just talked about a second ago, we actually spend an entire coaching session on this topic, okay? But what does it even mean? Fixed mindset, growth mindset. There's a book out there that really sums this all up quite nicely. It's written by a woman named Carol Dweck. The book is called, guess what it's called? Mindset, okay? If you haven't read it, read it. But for now, let's just take a look at like what's going on up there in the noggin that very well may be keeping you from reaching your goals and your dreams, assuming you have some. What's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset? Let's just take a look, okay? And before we do that, number one, if you don't have goals and dreams, get some, okay? Then I'm going to list off these traits. And before I list them off, I want you to listen to them with neutrality. What I mean by that is I don't want you to make any judgment about any of them. Do not look for the ones that are more like you or that remind you of somebody else. Don't start identifying these traits like, oh, that's my Uncle Bill. Okay, don't do that. Or don't go, that's totally me. Just hear them. That's what I mean by neutrality. Okay? That stuff is only going to distract you from understanding each one. Now, I want you to understand it first before we start figuring out who's what. Okay? So listen, understand, do not try to recognize these traits in either yourself or others. Okay? Can you do that? Okay, thanks. Fixed mindset avoids challenges, shies away from things they don't know, unable to handle criticism or feedback, believes that intelligence and talent is static and does not develop after birth, like you either got it or you don't, does not carry out actions without seeking approval, got to check with somebody else, focused on proving themselves, threatened by the success of others, effort is not regarded as fruitful, understanding failure as the limit of ability. Understanding failure as the limit of ability and gives up easily. There's a reason I said that twice. So that's the fixed mindset. What about the growth mindset? The growth mindset, literally the exact opposite. The growth mindset views challenges as opportunities. The growth mindset acknowledges and embraces their own weakness, learns to give and receive constructive criticism. Intelligence and talent is dynamic and ever improving. The growth mindset will prioritize learning over seeking approval. The growth mindset will focus on the process instead of the end result. It is inspired by the success of others. Thinks of learning as brain training. Understanding failure as an opportunity to grow. And then persists in the face of setbacks. So the second action idea I want to give you. Let's go back over the list, starting with fixed. And I want you to look at each trait and rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 5. And 5 would mean that trait is dominant. And then 1 being that trait has like no control over you at all. And then we're going to add them up. Okay, you ready? So, fixed mindset, scale from 1 to 5. 5 being most dominant, 1 being not at all. No control over you at all, total control over you. Got it? Fixed mindset. Do you avoid challenges? Do you shy away from things you don't know? Are you unable to handle criticism or feedback? Does intelligence and talent, is it static and it doesn't develop after you're born? Do you not carry out actions without first seeking approval from somebody else? Are you focused on just proving yourself? Are you threatened by the success of others? Is your effort not regarded as fruitful? And do you believe that your failure is actually an indication of the limit of your ability? Do you give up easily? Okay. Scale from 1 to 5 on those. 5 being most dominant, 1 being no control over you at all. Add them up. You got your list? Add them up. See what your score is. Let's do it again for the growth mindset. Same idea. Scale from 1 to 5. Do you view challenges as opportunities? Do you acknowledge and embrace your weakness? Do you learn to give and receive constructive criticism? Is your intelligence and talent, is it dynamic and ever improving? Do you prioritize learning over seeking approval? And do you focus on the process instead of just the end result? Are you inspired by the success of others? Do you think of learning as brain training? Do you see failure as an opportunity to grow? And do you persist in the face of setbacks? Okay, so go through that again. Add those up now. What was your score there? Which leads to this. What side of this mindset are you spending the most time on? The majority of your time. Are you more in this, is your fixed mindset score higher? Or is your growth mindset score higher? And so what I want to give you is what to do if you're realizing that you may have more of a fixed mindset than you thought, that you may have more of a fixed mindset than you intended or planned on. Maybe you're a little blown away right now, but what to do if you're too fixed? I'm going to give you the growth mindset mantra. Now, mantra, it's a word or it's a sound that is repeated to do what? To aid concentration and meditation, but it can also be a statement or a slogan that is repeated frequently. So I'm going to give you this statement. I'm going to say it like it's me. You say it in first person because that's how you want yours to be. And you can transcribe this or hit me up on Twitter at David R. Bradley if you would like to have the full text of this, what we're talking about here. So send me the full text for the growth fixed mindset, Dave, and I'll get it to you, okay? So, but here is your growth mindset mantra. It may not be a bad idea to just rewind and transcribe it so that you learn it better, okay? And I want you to make this statement multiple times a day until it clicks, and then it stays, and it sticks. Clicks and sticks. Yeah, okay. Here we go. You ready? Yep. I embrace challenges because I view challenges as opportunities. I'm curious about things I don't know, and I acknowledge, embrace, and train to strengthen my weakness. I am willing to give and receive constructive criticism. My intelligence and talent is dynamic and ever improving. I prioritize learning over seeking approval. I focus on the process instead of just the end result. I am inspired by the success of others. I think of learning as brain training. I understand failure as an opportunity to grow. I persist in the face of setbacks. Make this your postulate. Like, assume the existence, fact, and truth of this statement as being your only reality. Speak it, command it into existence. Remember, you were born with a growth mindset. If you had a fixed mindset at birth, then how in the hell did you learn how to walk, talk, ride a bike? If you have a fixed mindset right now, it was taught to you. And then you used your experiences to confirm something in your mind that wasn't true in reality. Which means what? It means if it was learned, then you can unlearn it. And the original programming can take its rightful place back up in your noggin. So I'd encourage you to maybe knock this mantra out 3 times a day. And then try that sucker for 21 days in a row and see what that does for you. I'm going to do it too. I'll do it with you. You will not have to do this alone. We're going to do it together. Starting right now. So for the next 21 days, you and I, we're going to be doing the growth mindset mantra. Okay? Let's do it one more time just for good measure to wrap up the podcast. I embrace challenges because I view challenges as opportunities. I'm curious about things I don't know, and I acknowledge, embrace, and train to strengthen my weakness. I'm willing to give and receive constructive criticism. My intelligence and talent is dynamic and ever improving. I prioritize learning over seeking approval. I focus on the process instead of just the end result. I am inspired by the success of others. I think of learning as brain training. I understand failure as an opportunity to grow. I persist in the face of setbacks. Boom! Okay. I think this has been an exciting episode of the Cardone Solutions Podcast. How about you? Tweet it out to me what you got out of this one at David R. Bradley. Leave a comment below. Make sure you've subscribed and that you've shared this out with others. Do you know anybody with a fixed mindset that could benefit from this? That's right. So share that sucker out there right now, okay? And the last thing, be great, because nothing else pays. See you soon.